kind of feel where people can't get in the uh, which degrades the quality of the run. More people on. So we're at now. Uh, I mean, for this, in that we have backups for pretty much everyone, and we had a Shadow Priest, basically the same gear level as Booty, that applied about a week before he quit. Um, as far as the tanking situation, I'll probably take over that temporarily until I decide what I want to do permanently, as far as either getting another paladin or gearing someone's paladin to take that role on. And the thing that I want to get across the most is, um, as far as burnout, I understand that if you're to the point where you don't like playing the game, where like you have to hype yourself up to log in, um, it's difficult to like find the fun in something, especially if you're like Booty, where you play one character. The way you have fun is player power and increasing it, and you already have everything. And since they extended this tier as long as they did, it's like you basically have nothing to show up for except to hang out with the guild. And if you're already very low um, engagement top player, you're basically on the edge for burnout. And a lot of these issues will get fixed with ICC, but people aren't looking forward to TOGC. It's not like an iconic raid like Old War is, and it's very short, um, which is good and bad. Uh, we'll probably end up converting Old Wars to 10 man so we can still get the shards, which we imagine will get moved for the legendary. And then kind of go based on there. TOGC runs, even outside of progression, should only take an hour. But um, what we're going to do going forward with Wednesday runs is we need to make signups as consistent with who's going to show up as possible. And then we'll plan how far the run's going based on that. Last week we had 4 people that we knew were going to be absent, and then we ended up with 9 swapping to absent the day of. And even though we have very strong people in that raid that are capable of hard carrying, if you introduce more than a few pugs, it's not going to be something manageable. Even in our main run, we've seen if we put more than 2 healers in that are not from that run, you get extremely unpredictable results, which is understandable because people get accustomed to certain allowances that are made by people being there. People get used to being healed through stuff, not having to move out of it, things like that. And if that's not there, then they die um, repeatedly sometimes. So the idea is that we want that Wednesday run to be um, consistent with what the sign-up says earlier in the week, so we can prepare based on that to do the hard modes. And as far as spots in the main raid, um, we'll still try to rotate people in as much as possible, but we have to be careful about the quality of the run, because if the main raid turns into a slog, and people are already super geared, don't really need anything, the next step from that is like, well, I could just not go and they'll cover for me. And then if that happens enough, you just lose the drive. After you get out of the habit, you lose the drive to show up. So that's what we're trying to avoid. Um, things like the 10 man um, competitions and teams and things like that are good because they give people something to focus on that's not just showing up once a week, collecting your loot, and then logging off or playing alt. So we want to try to integrate some more things like that. If we can, A, come up with a fair way to do it, and B, find someone confident to take over organization that wants to handle it on their own. And the other thing is we're going to add 2 officers, one for the LC and then one that works with me. Um, yeah, pummel party, anything like that that involves us doing something as a team is fantastic. Um, and helps get through periods like this. Like everybody's super hyped for ICC, but because they extended this tier so long, normally we would be at the end of PTR about to go into TOGC, and PTR hasn't even dropped yet. So we're kind of subject to Blizz's whims on this. And it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. And as far as burnout goes, like I said, the people that have left, um, it wasn't a situation at all where there was any kind of conflict or bad feelings about anything or any complaints. It's just the state of the game being what it is at the time. Um, and some of that is Blizzard making mistakes on tuning and things like that. But we want to make sure we have both runs solid, have the 10 mans continue to excel, and have people learning the fights, which really helps on 25s. People that aren't familiar with Algalon, if you get thrown into a 25 Algalon, as some people here have, it's kind of a trial by fire because almost everything one shots you. But we want to be very communicative as far as showing up, being absent, and going to those runs. Like I said, I'm not going to try to cajole or force anyone to go to the Wednesday run, um, just because it's not worth losing someone over if they feel like they're obligated to do something they aren't incredibly interested in doing. If they don't have an alt or they don't feel like playing that day, um, we're just going to go with that because when I was making or going through the lineup asking everybody possible to attend, a lot of times we'd have the people that were trying to help bail, and then like we have an extremely strong lineup, kind of gearing pugs who are playing like absolute animals the whole time, like the bear guy or the demo guy for the Wednesday people. Um, but that's what we want to avoid. As far as the officers, I'm gonna have the LC nominate someone for that position, and then I'll probably take not applications but interest from people who want to work with me. But honestly, if you're prone to burnout and if you don't have a lot of free time or uh, you you don't enjoy doing large effort activities for which you will not likely be, let's say, directly rewarded for it. Just
Damn,
don't.
you're really selling it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that people know what it is before they get involved, because as you've seen from how many runs I do and the type of things, like Rev was honestly the best like right hand or first officer I've ever had, as far as just like he didn't have to be asked, he would just go in and do the thing. And I mean, honestly, it cost him his enjoyment of the game long term because that's just how he is. He like goes ham at everything. Will put 110% to whatever the thing is, which is amazing, but it can cost your enjoyment of the game. Um, which is the theme of the meeting. Like what I'm I'm trying to reiterate for everyone is that you focus on sustainability, be it like playing an alt or doing the team runs or finding something that you find fun personally, um, and then working that into the guild, even if it's not playing WoW, like playing Valorant or League or whatever the case may be, um, because we're not in danger of dissolving or canceling any of the runs. We have plenty of people, and since we're so successful, we can recruit infinitely from people that have, um, been defeated by the roster boss. So there's no shortage of people. It's just maintaining the atmosphere and the kind of people you have. It generally takes like many hours and 4 to 5 people to find one person that's good enough to be on the main squad and stay there. So it's really important to keep the people we have rather than trying to rotate through uh, new people that may not work out. So now that I've talked for 20 minutes, does anyone have any questions or concerns or any feedback for what I've said? If you can remember all of it.
I wanna say something. If any of you are shy or anything about being absent, just do it. As Rhyme said, nobody's gonna get you just because you didn't get to raid. Just say it with enough time.
Yes. Applying to the Wednesday run, especially. Um, we've had some people do the temporary loot council thing just to try it out, and we'll probably do that a few more times to try to get through the interest list on that, and then pick someone from there. Um, but like I said, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, to reiterate just on that LC point, if you are interested in having a guest spot on LC, we want to have a new member solidified by the next tier, but as was said earlier, we don't know when that is. So there's still plenty of time to, be a guest on LC or try out if you wish. So that's still open.
Hello.
And it's been like hugely successful so far. Like having Schmooth on the LC, he had a lot of like really good suggestions about like what we should do, like how different items should be handled. So like we appreciate like all that kind of feedback and having different opinions and stuff. So it just makes us better. So speak up if you're interested.
All right.
Did somebody else drop out of loot council or something?
No, we haven't filled the original spot, so we've essentially got 3 officers instead of 5 at the moment.
I'll also add, I know I got here a little bit late, but I want to just speak, like, as somebody who had just recently joined the guild, maybe, I don't know, 8 weeks between the last time we went through this. Those of us who've been here for a long time, we had a very similar issue to this, and I'm sure Ryan already talked about it in towards the end of TBC, at the very, very end of BT, and a little bit in SWP. Don't let this sort of stuff for the new guys, because I know we have a lot of people that just joined in the last couple weeks here. These things tend to sometimes feel very like doom and gloom, like, oh, everybody's leaving, and the temptation to maybe follow suit or whatever might be there. But I promise you, we ended up pulling through 10 times stronger in TBC than we did when we started facing the sort of mass exodus boss and the roster boss here and there. And also those who stuck around were rewarded, and not that we're trying to, like, I can't speak for anybody, but not that we're trying to like incentivize people to stay for a reward down the line, but those of us who hung out had a lot of fun towards the end of TBC, and going into early Wrath of the Lich King, I think, was a lot of the most fun that any of us have had in a long time, and it came from understanding that there's times like this. So I just wanted to say that because I know in TBC we lost a lot of. It felt like we lost 20% of people in a 2-week span all of a sudden, and it kind of looks like that a little bit right now. But I promise you, it's short term and long term. We had so much fun at the end of TBC and killing KJ and getting legendary bows and stuff like that. And ICC is a little bit out, but I think we'll have the same amount of fun. So just hang in there if you're new and you're like, shit, is this guild that I just joined about to fall to pieces? No, we've seen this before, and we'll come out just as strong after this again. But anyways, those are just my 2 cents.
Yeah. And to reiterate, like, we've weathered the roster boss issues much better. I don't know if any of you look at Reddit, but there's posts every day about like people who their guild's either stuck at 1 hard mode or 2 hard mode and are having to pug and are on like a sliding scale that they can't ever overcome. Which is why we can infinitely recruit people, because a lot of people are stuck in those scenarios, like the Shadow Priest we got, and are looking for someone that has had success and stability, which is understandable. But there is the possibility there of still turning the Wednesday run into its own thing where it can stand on its own, but it's honestly based on the people in that run being consistent. And like I said, you kind of have to manage your own expectations and your own feelings towards burnout, because you tried a number of things, but there's not really anything you can do externally to change someone's feelings about logging in. I mean, outside of Blizzard, announcing PTR tomorrow, which drums up interest and everyone gets excited about the new raid. But the longer you go within a specific tier after it's been completed, like after all the fights have been solved, the more bored people get. So does anyone else have anything?
I'm taking bribes on who gets power infusion now that Booty's gone, so get him in early.
I'll give you 7 gold.
Starting bid is 7 gold, but you can message me privately.
I'll give you 6.
I'll give you the fish that we used to toss around in Sunwell.
Oh, dude.
What is the new Shadow Priest name, Quando?
Stinky George.
Oh, yeah, upstanding guy.
Is he in the guild already?
I don't know. I didn't invite him yet, but I don't know if anyone else did.
No, I haven't. I haven't really been on that much.
Same. All right. Okay. I went over longer than I was expecting. Before we divide up into 10 mans, does anyone else have anything that they would like to add, or questions or concerns or anything? If you don't want to talk about it in front of 30 other people, you can message me privately, or we can have a Discord conversation. However you would like to handle it or address it, just get with me later, and we'll figure it out.
I don't know if I'm at the position to say this, but I wanna say sorry in the name of the people of Journey, because how Ditsy and Ammo just opt out of the server.
Yeah.
It really infuriated me, especially after Ammo won. Especially after how Ammo got that trinket from Daisy. I was like, man, why? You had to wait until you got your fucking loot to just jump right away.
Right.
That's some South American level of kind of shitty.
Yeah, if you want to see the hammer, you can go over to Peggle.
Yeah.
Izzy, did you start a fight with someone?
Dicey passed on a trinket that he won. He won the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then Ammo decided him and Ditsy were leaving after they got the trinket, some other gear, and like 10 shards for the legendary. So
Jesus.
And to add salt into the
Sorry.
injury,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
that was perfect.
You just gotta laugh about it. I mean, really,
Yeah.
just laugh and well,
I
just
mean, the
keep
good news
pushing.
is there's plenty of loot to go around. It's not the last time we'll see it.
no, for sure.
The worst part of it is the ammo got served the exact same way with the end of Journey. He passed on that trinket to give it to a really good Frost DK. I forgot the name, and then he with a bunch of the good raiders just went to another server to start their own guild.
Yep.
Man, I thought the curse trinket was the Deathbringer's Will from ICC.
Yeah, it's that's the whole self-fulfilling prophecy thing. People just do the same thing over and over again and always wind up in these scenarios. But
Speaking as one of those people, I hope that's not a reflection on the rest of us.
No.
Because there was.
We blame you personally.
We were actually just talking.
Really? Yeah, that's right.
This was
Very
a thing in the
childish
past
from
before
Memo.
with them, and I'm not honestly surprised, but yeah. So hopefully we'll move past that.
Yeah, I don't hold anyone responsible except him, and Ditsy and everyone else from the guild has been really great, very strong players, and is likely going to be the core of that second 25 man. And like zero complaints from or for anyone else in the guild, and you guys have all been great.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got a couple more weeks of weirdness, but we're moving, to a couple states away, so I got a lot of stuff going on. So I haven't been super consistent the last week. So I do want to apologize.
Yeah, like I said, it's nothing that any one person can do, or like it's not any one person's fault. It's just it's all of these things, like a confluence of things that are all happening together that kind of go to that and limit the progression, because going from like 5 hard modes one week to 3 the next week, and a lot of that was pugs just, like I said, behaving like animals. But
That last
Yes,
Wednesday,
they are.
Yeah,
that last Wednesday run, I jumped in, Freya and Mimron. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, what is going on? There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on.
yeah,
Who
It
do
was
you
mostly
manage to
pugs,
install
so
WoW without virus?
right, yeah. But it's like I said, I've done this many times over every expansion, so it's not something that I'm unsure of how to solve or am not familiar with. So we have all the ingredients needed to build out that group and maintain what we have and keep progressing, which is long term the best solution for everyone here. And being able to diversify, being in multiple groups and playing multiple roles, like everyone's doing, is really important. I think that's all I had. I know a lot of people are here just for the meeting. The people that want to raid tonight, let's just have all of us stay in if you're willing to raid tonight or want to, and then we'll create a group or 2 groups out of whoever's staying based on how many people we got.
Are you just running Aldora tonight, or are you doing other things?
Just Old War, as far as I know, depending on how early we finish with what people we might do another run. I know there's a lot of people that are trying to gear characters, so
I'm working on a warlock. I just hate leveling.
same. Let me check.
That's the other thing too. Joy's journeys win.
Yeah,
For real.
they really
Let's
could have added
They-
that.
yeah. They need to bring that back every once in a while.
I still have two character types or classes that I still need a level.
Especially now. Oh yeah. Also, thanks for taking time out of your Monday night, especially if you weren't intending to raid, to come to the meeting. I appreciate it. Everyone being involved and all the feedback is really vital for us as far as planning what direction to go and how people feel about everything. So even if you're not asked directly, if you have some sort of impression or comment or idea about the raid, just feel free to message me or Akara or Kondo directly to let us know. There have been countless situations where people have an idea or feel a certain way about a certain thing, and then we find out about it like much later when it's too late to make it right or address it or implement it. So just feel free, no matter what the idea or impression is, to give it to somebody so we can um, take the feedback and implement it or take it into consideration, whatever the case may be.
What do we need in the guild? What classes are recruiting?
Mostly range DPS and maybe one or two heals. We obviously have a bunch of disc priests, so diversifying heals is nice. But we have most of everything covered. It's just in the Wednesday group, if everyone showed up all at once, we would have like 28 people. But it's the consistency part. Yeah, we are short one tank now, but there's some people that are working on that too. But yeah, casters especially.
There's some bosses that I don't need gear on that I don't mind being swapped out on certain fights for.
Do you mean in 10 or 25?
I think I have everything I need from 10 except for Alagon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, either both of them. Like, I think Disc Priest bosses are late bosses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not a lot of. I mean, there's not anyone. Part of the issue now is that most people need like essentially one or two pieces of gear, which is part of the mitigating factor in them showing up, because if it's a contested piece, they're like, I may not get it this week, may never get it, depending on how many people SR, what the order is. So the issue now is not necessarily that people need gear so much as they have almost everything except one piece or two. Okay.
I'm just late to the party.
No problem. So is everyone, how many people? We have 16 online. If you're wanting to, that's going to be 14.
I have 7 people in a group right now.
Okay. This peak is saved, so 13. Based on that, we probably have enough for one group, because Zaiten
And Shallowed and Stinky George.
Yeah, so
they're not in the call, but yeah,
yeah, they're
in.
online. Okay. So we'll do one group, and we'll have the 10-mans more hammered out next week, because we had that second Thursday run get canceled because of Rev's meeting, and then the other team didn't reconvene after that. We're gonna look at setting that team up again. Try to keep the same general time frame, same people, just fill in the gaps basically, and then we'll do another run on Monday like normal. But Klondo, what do you still need in your group?
Maintain